Welcome to our very special programming here on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel. It is our NBA Playoffs mini extravaganza. And if you're here, you know that when the Hammer does extravaganzas, it is must-see content. We have a fantastic lineup of guests for you today for the next hour 15, hour 20, hour and a half or so. So make sure you sit tight, have those sports books ready to fire, because we've got tons of bets coming your way today. My name is Jacob Gramegna. I am a content creator and producer here at the Hammer Betting Network. This is my second time appearing as the guest host on the Hammer Daily, and I'm super excited because we've got such a great lineup for you guys today. Who we're going to be hearing from include the likes of Pips NBA, who you may have seen me work with before. We have Joey Knish, other people you know like Kirk Evans. So we've got fantastic content coming for you, and we'll be starting with the guests in just a few minutes. To lead off, though, some big conversations about the NBA play-in tournament yesterday. We had two very exciting games. We had the Blazers and Suns. The Suns made a big comeback after being down big near the end of the second, and the Blazers made a big comeback near the end of the fourth quarter. Some huge buckets near the end of the game by Denny Avdia. That was great, but I think the real cinema was earlier in the day. The Hornets and the Heat. It looked like the Hornets, after their amazing season, were down and out, weren't even going to make the playoffs. Big comeback near the end. But the talking point of the game is the incident involving LaMelo Ball and Bam Adebayo. We have it on screen here. LaMelo Ball very clearly swipes at the heel of Bam Adebayo, causing him to fall down. He lands very hard on his tailbone and has to leave the game without returning for the rest of the game. Now, this wasn't reviewed in real time because the play wasn't whistled. The ball went down the other end of the floor. It changed possession, so it wasn't reviewed during the game. They couldn't do anything about it. But now that we've seen what happened, is there something that should be done about it? Let me know in the comment section. Obviously, that's a dirty play. That was bad. But let me know in the chat right now, do you think this warrants additional penalty for LaMelo Ball? Basically, do you think LaMelo Ball should be suspended for Friday's play-in tournament finale for the Hornets against the loser of the Orlando Magic and Philadelphia 76ers game? So for me, seeing it in real time, it was dirty. It was bad. But if they reviewed it, do you really think this is getting upgraded to a flagrant 2? I think like flagrant 1 is right. And this isn't the first time LaMelo Ball swiped at someone's leg while they're running. Call it heat of the moment, whatever you want. It's a dirty play, deserves some punishment. I think in game this would have been called a flagrant 1. It's unfortunate that Bam had to leave because of the injury and could not return to the game. That's an unfortunate reality of it. Sadly, when you're looking at things like this to discuss suspensions, fines, and penalties, you can't really use that additional context, in my opinion. You just have to look at the play in a vacuum. I think that is a flagrant 1. George Sulfidis in the chat says dirty play. Good Green says LaMelo slew-footed him. TQ1219 says it was bad. It was bad. I don't think the NBA will suspend him for this. I think this should have been a flagrant 1. They missed a call. Somebody should have seen it, absolutely. But I don't think he was getting ejected from the game. And I don't think he's going to get suspended. But we will just have to wait and see. There's a lot of backlash towards this, so the NBA could end up doing something about it. I'm going to ask what my first guest thinks about this in just a second here. We're going to be bringing on our first guest of the show today. You've seen him here plenty. You see him on other channels of the Hammer Betting Network plenty. We have the unique market specialist and your favorite prediction market counterparty. It is Peanut Bettor. Mike, thank you so much for joining me here today. The LaMelo Ball, Bam Adebayo incident. What are your thoughts? Do you think LaMelo should be suspended?
Probably should, but this is one of those weird things where by definition, it seems like he has to be, but at the same time, I don't think they will, and I kind of don't want them to. So I think that by the rules, yes, that was a dirty play. He needs to be suspended, but at the same time, in an elimination game, it almost makes the game too important to suspend him. I don't know. It's kind of the coward's way out, but I wouldn't suspend him. I would just let him get away with it.
Okay, now you obviously watched the game. LaMelo Ball is a very, very good bad player. He's just truly awful, but also truly great at the same time. How would LaMelo Ball's absence impact a spread for a potential game against Orlando or Philadelphia, in your opinion?
For all LaMelo's flaws, and like he was really bad defensively in that overtime. He was getting cooked constantly. He falls asleep on a backdoor, allows a layup, and like he just takes the game not serious enough. And he frustrates me to no end. With all that being said, he just generates great offense. Like there's no doubt about it. When you look at him consistently, the Hornets offense is elite when he's on the floor, and they're not that same level when he's off the floor. So I would say that he's probably, 3 points to the spread, probably more to the total. So, just gut feeling, without looking at it too deep, I would say, yeah, he's going to be a pretty significant impact because, not only with Charlotte, they are going to be able to insert Kobe White, which is nice, a big acquisition for them, not only for the freak shots last night, but just like he provides a floor that they wouldn't have had otherwise. But I just don't think that they're going to be able to generate offense versus a team like Orlando, who's a serious team, or even Philadelphia without Joel Embiid. I just don't think without LaMelo they can generate, enough offense for it to be their strength like it has been all season.
And on the Hornets, Con Knippel really struggled in that play-in game. I think it was 6 points, 0 of 6 from 3. Didn't even end up using him for the clutch or in overtime. Do you think strategy changes for the second play-in game, or do you think he's back in rotation as normal here?
I think you just have to put him back in rotation as normal and hope that he has a better day than he's had so far. The Hornets, they don't have enough guys that you can simply afford to take Con Knippel, the guy who led the NBA in three-pointers, out of the rotation. So if I were them, I would put him back in there, hope he's playing better. Sometimes you just don't have it, and we've seen in the playoffs, guys get completely pulled from the rotation and then come back and be a hero. As a Raptors fan, you remember when Fred VanVleet in the championship run was horrible.
I do recall, yes.
Yeah, he was horrible. People were like, oh, my God, you got to get him out of the rotation. And then versus the Bucks, he eventually ends up going off. It's funny how, you can look unplayable 1 minute and then be the hero of the team the next in the playoffs. It's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, definitely a great point there. But let's get into the reason we're here today for the Extravaganza. So you're first up, just to explain to everyone how it's going to work today. We're going to be getting 2 bets, at least that's what we're hoping for, off of each of the people joining the show. We're going to get a round 1 bet, and we're also going to get a futures bet before we get Eastern Conference Final, Western Conference Final, and NBA Finals predictions. Okay. We'll start with you, Mike, for your round 1 bet. What do you have for us here?
Actually went a little early, not round 1, playing game tonight.
Hey, no problem. Let's do it.
I'm going to take Steph Curry under 26.5 points. He's still coming back from the knee injury. He hasn't played a workload above his minute workload. I really doubt that he can play the 40 minutes kind of area. And basically throughout Ty Lue's career, his number 1 goal, in these situations where he's facing a star player, is to get the ball out of the star player's hands. He's blitzed guys. You remember Curry when he played the Cavaliers, he pretty famously, the Cavs blitzed him pretty hard. And he's, became a distributor in that game. If I understand, with Brook Lopez, you're going to want to play a lot of drop, but I just don't think that's in Ty Lue's nature. He's going to try to get the ball out of Curry's hands. Again, I think that there's a minute kind of top end that he can't get to than he normally would.
All right. And for this one, we have on Fanduel -130 for the under 26.5 points for Steph Curry. If you shop around, you can find some better prices than that. Of course, today's show sponsor, Fanduel. We appreciate them. More on them a little bit later on. But yeah, I like the angle there, especially with how depleted this Golden State Warriors team is. And like I said, already in Ty Lue's nature. If someone's going to beat us, it's not going to be Steph Curry. I think that's a good way to approach this one. But we'll move into the futures bet now that you got.
It's widely available. It hasn't been posted up at FanDuel. I'm sure they'll get it up soon. Eastern Conference Finals MVP Donovan Mitchell. I've been beating the Cavs drum to win the East all season. We'll see how that goes. But on a serious note, I think that a lot of the other Cavaliers are getting too high a percentage of the Cavs equity right now in terms of Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Harden has taken up a lot of equity in some places. I just don't see that kind of when you look at what their resumes are. And if the Cavaliers are going to win, I just don't see James Harden being the primary option in that situation, considering, what he is at this point in his career. Donovan Mitchell is just a far superior player at this point in his career. It's mostly a points, rebound, assist award. Donovan's going to get a lot more usage as far as points. So I think that Donovan's not getting enough of the equity for the Cavs, Eastern Conference run.
Okay, Donovan Mitchell, he has a knack for rising up for playoff series, even though maybe his teams in the past have not been able to do so. So interesting there. When that does appear on FanDuel, what sort of price are you looking for, and do you recommend our viewers go grab?
Yeah, anything that's like plus 700 or better right now, I think is a pretty solid price in terms of like looking for that. That's available some other places. I'm sure FanDuel will go up relatively in market. So I would look in the plus 700 range.
Okay, fantastic. Now let's get into Eastern Conference Final, Western Conference Final, NBA Finals predictions. I mean, looks like you've got the Cavs involved, but what about the rest?
Yeah, in the West, I think that they are going to face Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. For if I was just lining it up without odds at all, I would still say Boston's a favorite in this side of the bracket. I just don't think it's to the rate that it is right now. Yeah. I don't think Tatum's quite blended in as much as everybody says. Like he's back completely. It's been a little bit wobblier than what people are kind of implying, but I still think Boston is probably the most likely team. But again, for the odds, I think Cleveland is better. And then on the West side, I hate to be boring. I think it's going to be OKC versus San Antonio. I think that Denver winning that game did OKC so much of a favor of not having to go Denver, San Antonio, then the East team. Now that they get to face the winner of the Rockets and the Lakers, to me, that was like a huge gap in terms of probability of them getting out of the West. I could see Denver possibly beating San Antonio. I don't see either of those teams beating OKC. And then, the boring pick, OKC wins a title. I think that right now, to be honest, they're trading in like the 44% range, 43% range. I think that they should be odds on.
Okay. So maybe even some value there at FanDuel. I think they're plus 120 right now, as I'm just trying to find it on the fly here. Anyways, they're around plus 120 to win the championship. Yeah, plus 120. So maybe even an opportunity to play it there if you think they should be about plus 100, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, I think that they should be around, honestly, I think that they should be greater than plus 100, but I don't want to go. I want to respect the market some there. So,
okay. Fair enough. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining me here. You can follow him at peanut_bettor on Twitter. We have all of the profiles, everyone linked in the description. Thanks so much for joining. Appreciate it.
Yep. Any show without Jason's a good one.
All right. I agree. Absolutely. We're going to get into our second guest in just a moment here. I wonder if Jason's watching or if he's just enjoying his vacation. Do you think he evaluates and see how other people are doing for his show? I'm not sure. You'll have to ask him when he returns from his suspension. But as I said, our presenting sponsor here on the Hammer YouTube channel is Fanduel, and we have some great stuff from Fanduel for you guys for the NBA playoffs. It's the 2026 playoffs. We have the Play-In Palooza Profit Boost. The NBA Play-In Tournament is back, and you can get better payouts this NBA Play-In Tournament on FanDuel. Just head to the FanDuel Sportsbook app. That's where all FanDuel customers can claim a profit boost every day of the tournament. This way, you'll score a bigger W if your bet wins. Plus, you can also enter FanDuel's Play-In Palooza for a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets every day of the Play-In tournament. All you have to do is place a live bet using your Play-In Palooza token. Then you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. So don't just watch the NBA Play-In tournament from the sidelines. Visit FanDuel.com/ForwardProgressHQ. That's FWD Progress HQ to get in on the action. That's FanDuel.com/ForwardProgressHQ. Or just go to the link that is in the description to claim your daily profit boost. Also, don't forget to enter FanDuel's Play-In Palooza for a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 plus, select states for Kansas affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, 18 plus in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Limit one entry. Profit boost bonus issued as knowledge drawable profit boost token. Prizes issued as knowledge drawable bonus bet to expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/Chat Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 1-877-770-7867. Louisiana. All right. Housekeeping out of the way. Keep moving. By the way, I actually got the FanDuel link wrong. It is FanDuel.com/forwardprogress. I mixed up my URLs there, but hopefully the link in the description is there to save you. Fanduel.com/forward progress. We still need our own over here on the Hammer, but let's not delay any further. Let's get into our second guest. I've worked with him plenty as part of the Hammer Betting Network in the past. He is my former co-host on the Board YouTube channel. He is the creator of Props Madness and an NBA player prop specialist. And look at him. He's in a nice studio today. Let's pull him up. Pips NBA. Thank you so much for joining me. The soundproofing in the back, I like it. You're building out a studio there?
Yeah, no, it's a phone booth next to my office.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Less fancy than I made it out to be, but we get some quality audio coming out of you there. But yes, as Mr. Salmon Chat says, just like old times, we're talking some NBA here. Appreciate you joining me on the show. Let's dig into things. I kind of want to ask you about the Houston Rockets. Kind of caught a break with your first round opponent. Heavy favorites going to the series with the Lakers. What sort of championship pedigree do you think this Rockets team has after really making an investment in this group this season?
Yeah, it's tough to have a championship caliber team when you have 44 millions in a contract not playing. Injuries happens, and on the other side we have Lakers without Reeves and Doncic, so I definitely like our chances in round one. I was close to giving out -2.5 spread for the series. Definitely I think 4-1 could be the result from this series, as I can see Lakers getting at least one because Houston Rockets have huge troubles with shooting. So if they have a horrible shooting game, Lakers can win one, but dubbed they win two or more. So definitely like our chances in first series, and then OKC round two, and then we'll see how good this team is. So they can definitely fight and bring defensive physicality against the OKC. That's what I like from this. So I think we could compete, but don't think we do much.
All right. I mean, fair enough. We'll kind of see. By the way, anybody wondering, Pips is a Rockets fan, hence why I bring up the Houston Rockets. I'll also ask you. I know you've got a soft spot. You do like the Atlanta Hawks. They gambled last day of the season, rested their guys, ended up fumbling the 5 seed and have moved down to the 6 seed. Do you think that moving to the 6 seed is that large of a penalty? How do you feel like they match up against the Knicks?
Yeah, I definitely like their chances more against the Knicks than compared to against the Cleveland. So I spoke to a couple of my friends before it, and I was like, hope they lose this, so they go to the Knicks. So I think they are kind of much better spot there than against the Cleveland Cavaliers, as I have Cleveland Cavaliers as the second best team on the East, maybe even the best team on the East. So then it wouldn't be a great round, and I don't think Hawks can compete with them, but I could see them competing with the Knicks, putting Nickel Alexander-Walker and Dyson Daniels and Brunson can definitely slow him down. And then, when you can play single coverage against Brunson and don't get murdered, I think you can do a lot of damage, and that's what they have. Nickel Alexander-Walker and Dyson, both of them on the same team. They can have great defensive guys on Brunson for 48 minutes every night.
It's interesting. The sentiment from Raptors fans like myself is that we wanted Cleveland instead of the Knicks, so we were happy to move up to 5th, even to take the Cavs, and it appears the Hawks kind of get what they want as well. I guess it's just matchup dependent there.
Yeah, matchup definitely.
Yeah. Let's get into the bets. We're going to get a round one bet. We're going to get a futures bet, and then get your predictions for the conference finals. Let's start off with your round one bet. What do you got?
Round one bet, pro bet, Jaden McDaniels over 13.5 points from the Denver against the Wolves. I don't know if I can share the screen, or is this did you have this in mind on this show? But I can talk it through.
We might be able to make it happen. If you,
I think I can just do this, and if it's
we should be able to get Mike if you can just pull up his screen and add it to say we're good. He'll get it done.
Yeah, so I just shared it, so I don't know if okay.
There you go.
Oh yeah, this looks great. First off, I want to say, starting with the obvious, I targeted wings that are not great shooters against the Denver a ton this season because they kind of leave them open and they are kind of great pick and roll ball handler defense. So they're putting pressure on ball handlers. So off ball guys get a ton of good looks. And looking at head to head against the Denver Nuggets, he's averaging 20 points over those 4 games, covering this in every single game. Usage up 2 points, 3 more field goal attempts than season average. So he was getting the looks, getting the shots, and 13 and a half is not great. Also, last game they played, we had Edwards in, the Sunmu in, Randall in, and his line closed 14 and a half minus 120. So similar, same lineup, same team. He gets closed at uh, 14 and a half minus 120. Now getting 13 and a half minus 114. Similar stuff and increased playoff minutes as well. Obviously, Denver probably going to be a better defense, but we can see he scores most of his top transition and spot up. That's where Denver struggles. And yeah, when look at the entire season with Edwards and Randall in the lineup, when he gets playoff type minutes, which is like 31 plus minutes, he covered this in the last 16 out of 21, averaging 18 points a game. Don't think either Sunmu changes a ton for him against Denver. I just think this is huge buy low spot for Jenny McDaniels, and I could see him increasing to 16 and a half through like game 3 or game 4 when he gets the things going. So first round bet, Jaden McDaniels over 13 and a half points.
And as you said, minus 114 available on Fanduel. That's maybe the most competitive price in the widely available space. You might be able to scrape better elsewhere. As always, shop around for your wager, but Fanduel very competitive with their pricing on this one. I like everything you said there. Is there any concern into kind of playoff environment slowing things down, or is just the elevated minutes going to counteract that?
Elevated minutes and the way defensive scheme of Denver Nuggets work. Like also he had some injury problems, but returned back, played in 19 minutes. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to stay away. Then next game against the Houston Rockets, he played 35 minutes. So I think he's definitely good for like big 36, 38 minutes, if no foul trouble, which is obviously something that can happen with him guarding Jamal Murray, but I would say this is still a good spot to take.
All right, let's move into the futures side of things. What is your futures play for the show?
Cleveland Cavaliers winning East plus 330. Yeah, I have them like maybe even like it's close against the Boston, but I like these Cleveland Cavaliers teams. I kind of I'm like, yeah. If they're playing the Pistons, definitely can see them winning that series. Yeah. The only thing I didn't like about this is the first round matchup, as it's heavy physical against your Raptors. So if they don't win like 5, they will be heavily like tired from it. It will be very, very, very physical matchup. So I if for my futures on Cavs winning, I was preferring actually Hawks for them, just for that, because that's an easier matchup for them, and then they will probably win. Like even if they win, like winning in 6 against the Raptors and winning in 6 against the Hawks, not kind of the same. So yeah, but overall, I think they're probably the best team in the East. Like I like their depth. They didn't even play much together, which is a kind of issue. But since they are facing the Boston Celtics only later into the season, they'll have a whole entire round to like figure things out against the Raptors. And that's your chance in round 1. But yeah.
The reason I preferred Cleveland over New York, not that I think the Raptors are going to win this series. I just think there's a better chance against them here. I think a lot of people on the show are going to be interested in the Cavs because we had Donovan Mitchell, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, given out just before you. Let's get your predictions for those conference finals and the finals before you head out.
Yeah, I mean, obvious one for the East is Cleveland Cavaliers. And on the West side, I just want to say OKC, even though
you can say it. I mean, you can say it.
I'll go and say Spurs.
Spurs? All right.
Yeah, I watched every single game against the OKC,
Yeah,
and
they played them
I
well.
think they have fair chances because I can see like OKC mostly plays at all times one not great shooter like Dort or Caruso and like some of these defensive specialists, and they just put Wemby on him, and Wemby was ignoring them and was in the paint helping on Shea and J-Dub. So defensive scheme wise, if Wemby is healthy, I will really enjoy watching this series, and I think Spurs have a chance.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're all hope. I mean, I wouldn't say all of us, but if we do get this series, Spurs Thunder, I think it could be absolute cinema for television.
I'm just like wishful thinking my Harden to a guy to get a ring. So
Yeah. What has Harden got? Is Harden going to beat the allegations this year? Is this the year where he turns it around playing?
I mean,
Cavs?
first season after the injury that he looks absolutely amazing. He's one of the most efficient guys now that he can play with some team. It's like he carried some poor teams and always like was on like shooting efficiency down. Like true shooting was always like top of the league. But this season he's kind of getting some good looks, playing next to Mitchell and Mobley and Jared Allen and all the movement guys. So definitely in a great spot to succeed. So now it's the time to at least push Mitchell and Mobley to the next level.
Absolutely. Well, Pips, great chatting with you as always. Nice to be able to bring back the pick and roll duo of the Former Board YouTube channel and talk some basketball. Good luck with all your bets. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. I'm sure we'll talk soon.
See ya, man. Bye, guys.
See you later. Great stuff from Pips. Great basketball mind. Some good bets given out. A lot of people looking at the Cavaliers already, but Jaden McDaniels there over 13.5 points for Game 1 of the Nuggets Timberwolves series. Some comments on my jacket I appreciate. I'm rocking my my Raptors jacket today. It is getting quite hot in Toronto, though, and it's getting a little hot in here, but I'm going to power through with the mini extravaganza here. Up next, we're going to have Chris Dierkes jumping on the show. Before we go to Chris Dierkes, let's talk about some other content we have surrounding the Hammer Betting Network today, because we have some amazing content coming at you today. Let's talk about some other live content that we have coming at you over the course of the day. 2 p.m. Eastern time. You guys are not going to want to miss out on this. The Forward Progress YouTube channel, we have the NFL mock draft taking place. We're going to be doing a full first round mock draft, and we're going to have Rob, Austin, TA, and George Silfidis. They are going to be representing 2 divisions each, acting as GMs. There's going to be trades allowed. It should lead to some absolute wild content, and it should lead to some excellent content for you to enjoy. That's on the Forward Progress YouTube channel, which is linked in the description below. George definitely got a little hype mogged in this thumbnail here. Whoever did it, Rob as well. Was Rob just plastered on somebody else? Yeah, Mike definitely did George a little bit dirty with with the graphic, but hey, I like it. Well, also today, by the way, some other live content, 5 p.m. Eastern time, on the Hit the Books YouTube channel. That's also linked in the description below. We're going to be doing some more CFB off-season discussion with Joey Knish and Brad Powers. More NFL draft talk as well. Looking at some potential NFL draft plays. And as always, questions and answers with the chat. So send in your questions in the chat. Get involved in discussion with some CFB off-season stuff. That is what we got coming at you. Again, all the channels we have as part of the Hammer Betting Network are linked in the description below. All right. We're still waiting on Chris Dierkes to show up. I don't know if he was up till 5 a.m. betting tennis again or something, or maybe he was maybe he was up a little late watching the second play-in tournament game. But so far on the show, we've got Steph Curry under 26.5 points for the first round of tonight's play-in tournament game. That is from Mr. Peanut Bettor. Also, Donovan Mitchell, Eastern Conference Finals MVP plus 700. And we have Jaden McDaniels over 13.5 points, as well as Cavs Eastern Conference champions for the for Pips. That's what he gave out earlier on the show. All right, we're going to call an audible here. We're waiting on Flup. We'll try and get him in a little bit later on, but we do have somebody else just chilling in the background, so we're going to vault him up into the mix here. Kirk Evans is going to be joining the show. He is a basketball originator and a Circle Back Monday panelist, which you can check out on the Circles Off channel. Kirk, thank you so much for filling in for Flup and being ready behind the scenes. I appreciate it. Did you catch the game? I'm sure you caught the games last night. What did you think?
I actually didn't watch Portland, Phoenix. Charlotte, Miami was an incredible game, other than the fact that my broadcast cut out with 1 minute left in overtime.
I think everyone's did.
Yeah, I don't know.
LeBron was tweeting about it.
Yeah, but that was an unbelievable game. I also had the over, so it going to overtime was really sick. But yeah, it was great stuff. Serious, intense basketball. Just a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, I don't love the idea of the play-in tournament, but then every year I watch the games, and they're excellent. Just one-and-done basketball, a lot on the line, like meaningful basketball, as you mentioned. Great to see, and it was a fantastic game there. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the play-in's cool because, like, normally you don't get, like, two teams, like, the level. Charlotte actually is really good, but the level of, like, Phoenix and Portland playing each other in such an important game. Like, normally when you see Phoenix and Portland, they'll be kind of off to the slaughter against OKC and San Antonio. But having two teams at that level play each other in, like, a do-or-die game is fun to watch.
Yeah, that's a great point about it. On the Eastern Conference side of things, Toronto resident like myself, I can be a little bit biased when it comes to the Raptors. Lay it to me straight. How are the Raptors cooked here? Do they got a shot against the Cavaliers round one?
Yeah, I hate the Raptors. I hate everything they stand for. I like the tempo, even though the tempo seemed to be building their team similar to the Raptors. I would love us to build a front court around Colin Murray-Boyles and Scotty Barnes and not build around RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, and Emmanuel quickly and be the most mediocre team to ever exist. We're going to lose in round one. If we don't lose in round one, we'll lose in round two. I'm cheering for the Cavs 100%. I hate the way this team is built. They're not fun. They're not fun to watch. It's the least interesting series of the first round to me. This team makes me sick, honestly.
I don't feel as harsh as you. I understand your sentiment. I don't feel as harsh as you about their chances in round one, although I do agree that second round would be seemingly the ceiling for this team.
It's just like the Raptors are truly like one of the bottom 5 teams in the league that you could see winning a championship in the next 5 years.
They'd have to make
no path.
They'd have to. Well, the path for me would be they'd have to just shell out like a
you get Giannis maybe
for a trade. Yeah, in a trade. Yeah,
but like we're not really asset rich either.
It would be the first round pick capital. It would be RJ Barrett's $29 million, and then maybe Grady Dick's like $7 million next year, $36 million in tradable contracts.
That's gonna get you who? It's not winning. Maybe you could get Brandon Ingram with that.
All right, let's shift in. You mentioned, was it on? It was on Friday. We talked on Circle Back Friday. It wasn't you, but we talked about Con Knippel's Rookie of the Year potential and how the votes are coming in after the play-in tournament. And I think it was Mr. Peanut Butter who said, "Just wait till Con Knippel plays well in the play-in tournament." I think I don't know for sure, but I believe that was a conversation that was had with Joey Knish. Con Knippel did not play well in that play-in tournament game. He's fortunate that he gets another one. Does that affect the Rookie of the Year standings in any way to you?
Seems like it affects it like somewhat. I don't know. If you're changing your vote on the play-in, you're a bit of an idiot, but these voters are idiots. I don't know. They really frustrate me. I just don't understand how people are voting for Flag over Con, if I'm being honest. I went on many Twitter tirades about it.
I saw.
But it's just very frustrating to me that people who vote for these things don't really understand the difference between putting up stats and impacting winning basketball and how hard impacting winning basketball is. I think there are a couple easy tests as to why this is such an egregious vote. The easiest one being if Con Knippel was the first overall pick and Cooper Flag was the third overall pick and they had the identical seasons, Con Knippel would be the unanimous Rookie of the Year. It would be nowhere close. Voting for a guy because he is going to be the best player going forward just makes no sense, but that's what people do.
That's a good point. You know what? I think that's the most sound argument you can come up with, because I think a lot of it is just going to flag because of the fact that he was the first pick and he's the more esteemed player and the player expected to have the better career. It's happened before, and it may happen again this year. Anyways, enough waffling. Let's get into the picks. Round one. What's your bet for us?
Okay, so I have two bets that are kind of similar. One is going to be, because I didn't realize we were allowed to bet game one player props. I thought I had to pick a series prop, but so I've got both. So LeBron James under 9.5 assists, 1.66 at Fanduel. I think that's like minus 150. And then for a series prop, I only checked this on one book, but I'm sure it's decently available. Amen Thompson, series leader for assists.
Okay, so Amen Thompson, series leader for assists. What sort of price?
It's a 20, like plus 2,200, 23 to 1.
Okay, so we're looking for around plus 2,200 on that. For LeBron, minus 152 for under 9.5 assists available on FanDuel. Just checking through the market. Shop around on that one. So it's similar to some other spots, but definitely shop around as normal, but still a competitive price there. Walk us through, just give us a minute or two on these takes here.
Yeah, I just think the market's way over-indexing LeBron's 4 games with no Reeves and Luka. It's really more 3 games. He averaged a ton of assists. He ran insanely hot on his potentials. And, he is by far the highest listed player in terms of assists on the board. But, they don't really have a difference in pricing between LeBron James at 9.5 assist line versus Nikola Jokic at 9.5 assist line, when we have so much more certainty that a guy like Jokic, true number is 9.5. I could easily see throughout this series, Houston just decides to play LeBron really heavy one-on-one, force him to be a scorer. LeBron's just not really built to do this in year 22 of his career. No one has ever been built to do that in year 22 of his career. Obviously, he holds some bit of injury risk as well. You get, some tail end outcomes of Reeves and Luka coming back. So I just think there's way too much. The market is pricing this LeBron is expected to average 9.3 assists, or expected to get 9.3 assists in game one, which already I think is too high. So we're going to just extrapolate that throughout the whole series, and I think that is certainly the wrong way to do it in this unique spot where Reeves and Luke are out. I looked at Şengün, I looked at Amen, I looked at Luke Kennard, and I thought Amen was just the best, but it's much more fading LeBron at the minus 1,100 he is in market than specifically. I think Amen is going to get a lot of assists, but he's just right there, and he's kind of right in the top group of post LeBron guys. And I think he has the best odds based on where I have his assists.
All right. Sound take there. Let's get to your futures bet. What are you looking at?
So this one isn't going to be at your traditional sports book, but it maybe will be at a marketplace that also has sponsored or is sponsoring the Hammer. The Celtics to not win the East at 62%. I think it's 1.62. 1.61. There's plenty of liquidity available. Not a traditional sportsbook bet, but I think it's quite good.
Okay, so there we have it from Kirk. Lots of good takes or lots of good plays. Final thing before we go, let's get your conference finals predictions and NBA finals prediction.
I'm going to go Cavs, OKC, and OKC winner.
Okay. Cavs, OKC wins. I think we'll get quite a few people on that thought process on today's show. Kirk, thank you for stepping up as a replacement for Flup, who we now have word from. He will be on a little bit later in your place. So thank you for the audible call and being able to step in.
Absolutely.
All right, that was Kirk Evans. You can follow him on Twitter at KirkEvans0. Everyone is linked in the description below. 3 bets, a little bonus for you guys watching along with us today. Awesome scheduling done by Moretto, putting Flup and Knish back-to-back, two extremely unreliable participants with time. So we'll wait on Knish to come in here, and he'll give us his homer thoughts on the Detroit Pistons and his thoughts on why Cooper Flagg will win Rookie of the Year in just a little bit of time here. But let us know in the chat as you're watching along with us here, any bets that you have for the NBA playoffs, what you're looking at. If you agree, if you disagree with any of the takes that are seen on that you see on the show today. Looking through some of the chat here, Foxhole Guy says Kirk has been big on Con Rookie of the Year. He has been, and continues to be. I also see it that way. I've been firmly in the belief that Con Knibble deserves the Rookie of the Year over Cooper Flagg, and I don't think there's been a better way to lay it out than the way Kirk laid it out there. If Con Knibble was the first overall pick, he would comfortably be the Rookie of the Year this year. It shouldn't matter where the player was drafted. It should matter how those players performed in their rookie season. As for the Cavaliers-Raptors stuff, I find myself to be pretty optimistic, more optimistic than average in the Raptors, and I find Kirk to be extraordinarily pessimistic on the Raptors compared to the average. But we will see. We will see how that turns out in the first round, though I don't believe the Raptors will win that series. Sorry, Kirk wanted a little additional note here. He wants clarification that his con position is far smaller than other awards that he's not taking to Twitter. So people suggesting that he's only talking about a lot because he has money on it, that is not the case, because I guess he just feels strongly about this position here. So we'll see. You don't want people not to get the award they deserve. I look back at I wasn't really in tune with basketball this early. I was far too young, but LeBron James's rookie season, there is a very, very large case. Carmelo Anthony should have been Rookie of the Year. Similar stats and on a team that made the playoffs, and LeBron won it. And largely what could have played a factor there is the fact that one person was the future of the league and the first overall pick. So we could see something similar here, not to compare them to LeBron and Carmelo. Anyways, let's go to our next guest here. He is in. I was going to place a wager that he would be in his car. He's not in his car. He's just walking outside his building. But we have managed to catch up to him. It is Joey Knish, co-host on the Hit the Books YouTube channel, Cooper Flagg Rookie of the Year believer. Thank you for joining us.
My man, sorry for being a few minutes late. Joey Corporate ran over, so I'm in the beautiful, look at this, baby.
Detroit,
beautiful.
What a beautiful city.
Detroit. I got to tell you, some people love San Diego, some people, LA, Chicago. No, this is the greatest city on earth right here, Detroit, Michigan. You can just smell the fresh, clean air. Yes, there might be a bum right over there, somebody pissed on the sidewalk, but it doesn't get better than this in the summertime.
Absolutely. Anyways, let's fly into the wagers here because we're a little bit off schedule here. And let's get your first round bet.
Give me, and maybe I'm a believer. I heard you mention the name as soon as I get on. And I'm not going full Isaac because I'm not stupid, but I'm going Lakers plus 2.5 series line.
Okay.
Give me the series spread. I think it moved a little bit. I actually bet. So this is not just like I bet a nice chunk on this at our friends at Fanduel last night. That's a plus 2.5. What's the current? You got the current. I played at minus 110. Give it a little bit of room on there.
We're pulling up current odds. I think as we speak.
Listen, don't give me Reeves. Don't give me Doncic. Just give me the greatest of all time.
The king.
Against this loser Rocket squad that's got, they've been wanting to quit all year. I don't believe in them. I think they can see, you know what? I think this can be a little bit of a series. I'm not saying we're going 7, but I think we're getting a couple. So for me, Laker, and did I just a sprinkle on the old, there was some like plus 6. I mean, I think plus 580 around there. Little sprinkle on that, but I like the series line better. I think, to be honest with you, down the stretch after Doncic, I was like, you know what? The Kings got one last run in them in this series, baby. So give it to me. Give me the Lake Show on the series spread.
FanDuel not available as of yet on this market, but we will be looking for that one. We will be looking for that one when it's posted. Should be out later today, these markets, but keep an eye on that one here. Pips earlier threatened to give out Rocket spread, so going against each other a little bit. But hey, you're official here.
Head-to-head versus, Pippi? Yeah, give it to me. I like it even more. It might be where you got. It might be conference because I literally bet it at FanDuel last night. So yeah, it might be state dependent or province dependent. That's what they call them in Canada. So yeah, we'll see where it's at. But yeah, Lakers plus 2.5 for me, baby.
All right, and let's get your futures bet for the playoffs.
I'm going total slap homer. Give me Detroit basketball to win the Eastern Conference.
All right.
Well, that's it. I'm not like, listen, it's a little bit of a homer bet. Maybe it's a full homer bet. I think now you've got a little bit of an overvalued Celtics team. Oh, Tatum's back. Okay. Give me the Pistons, fully loaded, fully healthy, ready to go. Cade back in the prime. And what I think can't be discounted, right? The easiest pathway. Where I think a lot of other teams, maybe except for the Cavs, have got a layup in round one. Right. The Celtics pathway is going to be tough. So if you can wait all the way to the conference finals, when you have Tatum, that's not going to be himself, and having to go through a couple of what I think will be tougher series. So if we lose to the Hornets in round one, you can delete this segment off of there. But give me the Stones to win the East. Can they win the title? No, but I think they can make it interesting in the Eastern Conference. At least get to an Eastern Conference Finals and make it interesting, where your bet's going to have some value if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right, so that one's plus 460 available on FanDuel. I actually did manage to locate the Lakers series spread plus 2.5 available at minus 102. Is that what we're going with?
Oh yeah. Okay. I love it at minus 1. I'm about to add a little more at minus 102.
All right, no worries. Let's get into the conference finals predictions. You like the Pistons?
Yeah.
But how about the rest of the other 3 teams in the conference finals?
You know what? This is going to be the square the most hashtag casual Give me Pistons, Spurs, in the finals. Conference finals go head to head, where Pistons are. Am I really going to predict the Pistons to win it all? Yeah, you know what? Give me Pistons. Go Pistons, Celtics, Thunder, Spurs, Pistons, Spurs, head to head in the finals. And hey, maybe Detroit. I don't think we beat San Antonio, but give it to me. Give it to me all the way.
There you go. There's the man, Joey Knish. Enjoy your lunchtime walk. Viewers, we'll see you later today on the Hit the Books YouTube channel.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you later today.
See you later. All right, we'll get back on the rails here with the timing. We'll get into our next guest, who's already ready for us here. We have Noops joining us. You may be familiar with him for his NFL first touchdown bets, which we often like to see on the Forward Progress YouTube channel. We'll bring him in. Noops, the king of NFL first TD bets. Sorry for the slight delay on the scheduling, but how are you doing today?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Don't worry about it, Jacob. Always a pleasure to talk to you and be here today. And it's the best time of the year. This is, I am someone who defends the NBA regularly. And apologies, I can't remember who exactly said this, but the NBA's biggest problem is NBA fans hate the NBA. It's just the amount of negativity that we have over this league and this sport is just such a bummer. But we're done. No more. I'm not going to hear about tanking for the next couple months. I'm just going to get to watch incredible basketball games. And it started last night. Both of those games were excellent. Yeah. I couldn't be happier to have made it.
Very, very well said. It's okay to enjoy your favorite sport. I think it's important to remember that from time to time. 76ers hat. You're a 76ers fan?
Unfortunately, yes. It is the only team I'm really a fan of. I'm born and raised Philadelphia guy. I know too many Eagles fans to be an Eagles fan. I don't want to be associated with that group of people. I love the Phillies because my mom loves the Phillies. I love the Flyers, but I don't know enough about hockey to call myself a Flyers fan. But the Sixers, they've made me cry. Mostly just cry. I would like to tell you they made me feel good, but basically since Allen Iverson stepped over Tyronn Lue to defeat the Lakers in Game 1 in 2001, it's been rough.
Yeah, definitely. I've been on the positive end of some 76ers results as a Raptors fan, so I won't rub it in. How are we feeling tonight ahead of the play-in game?
A little bit nervous here. I think the Sixers could definitely win this game. I have actually bet the Magic +2, so as much as I am a homer, I just see a little more value. I think Orlando is the deeper team at this point. Without Embiid, I think the Sixers' only real way to win this game is to rely heavily on Maxey and Edgecombe, which they have all year. I love Tyrese Maxey. As a Sixers fan, I couldn't be happier to have someone who not only plays so well, but plays with so much joy. He has so much fun when he's out there playing. So Maxey could drag the Sixers to victory here and get them to a first-round series against the Boston Celtics. But I still think Orlando overall is the better team, even though they have had the clunkier season here. Jalen Suggs does as good a job as anybody guarding Maxey. I think Paul George is going to struggle again against Bane, against Banchero or Wagner, whoever ends up guarding him there. So as much as I want my Sixers to win, I have bet the Magic +2.
All right. And on the topic of bets, let's get into your bets. Round one, what is the bet going to be?
Cavaliers -2.5 games. I'm seeing that anywhere from +100 to +105. I know. I didn't, I'm not just trying to rag on you, buddy.
No.
But
hey, you bet against your own team, so
I sure did. So we're gonna get at both of our teams. It's just a case where Toronto's had a really solid season. I hope they can find a way to build on this going forward. Have to be a little concerned about some of the contracts, but they've struggled against top end teams all season. And as much as Cleveland has had their ups and downs, they're finally healthy. Everybody's playing well. I think this is a spot where Cleveland comes out, plays really well in this series, is able to win it fairly comfortably, and then I can't wait to bet against Cleveland in the next round. This is one of those things where I really do hope that we see Cleveland win this thing 4-0, 4-1, and then the Pistons maybe struggle a little bit with the Charlotte Hornets. Then I get to really open up, a huge bet here on this Pistons team that I couldn't feel better about. So, first round, I think everything matches up well here for the Cavaliers. Again, maybe the wing positions aren't quite as good as some of the Raptors' wings, but overall, Cleveland has what I believe to be the best player in the series in Donovan Mitchell, probably the better coach in Kenny Atkinson. Again, just a little more playoff seasoning and things like that, and a little more versatility. So you sort of put all that together. Again, you go back and look at the Raptors' performance against some of the best teams in the league this year. I think Cleveland takes care of things comfortably. Sorry, bud.
Fair enough. Cleveland -2.5 +106 available at Fanduel, our show sponsor. Look, if you're willing to bet against your own team, you can't feel bad for taking it against my team. And yes, the Raptors against top 10 teams in the NBA this season, 5-22. 3 of those 5 against Cleveland before they traded for James Harden, though. Anyways, on to your futures bet. What is it going to be here?
Well, it kind of bums me out because I just had to listen to Joey Knish talk about this, but I have liked the Pistons all year. I have thought the Pistons have been undervalued all season, had a nice chunk on them to win the division. That was like +500, +550 coming into the season. I actually have a decent amount of Pistons futures accrued throughout the season, but I'm betting them again. I'm seeing them to win the East. I think +460 is the price from our friends over there at FanDuel. And again, I'm going to try not to totally repeat what Knish just said, but they have the easiest path. They really do. I think that not having to play both the Knicks and the Celtics really opened things up for them. I've been inspired by how well Cade Cunningham has played since returning. He seems like, maybe not 100%, but 85, 90% of what we've seen from him all season. And his injury, I think, has really allowed the Pistons to sort of find, some other guys here. Dennis Jenkins has really stepped up in some of those moments. Tobias Harris, someone who I felt bad for as a Sixer. I really did. I think Glenn Rivers just kind of hosed him. Has been kind of solid here. And it's a team. They play great defense. They have Cade Cunningham. And again, when you're breaking down the playoffs, series often come down to who is the best coach, who has the best player, what team has kind of the 2 or 3 best skills. And I think Bickerstaff's a really solid coach. Not better than Missoula, but he's going to be a solid coach in basically every one of these rounds. Cade Cunningham can absolutely be the best player in any series. And I think the Pistons defense and rebounding especially. I know the Celtics have done okay rebounding with Kata and Tatum, but I really think this Pistons team is just going to be murder for them. I think it's just a nightmare matchup. Jalen Duren should have a great series. Cade Cunningham has done well against them. So give me the Pistons. Win it all season. I'll keep saying it. Detroit's winning the East.
All right, Detroit to win the East. Joey Knish confirmed sharp. We got back-to-back of our guests here giving out Pistons +460 to win the East. So Pistons, I imagine, will be in your conference finals, but how does the Western Conference matchup round out, and who are the Pistons going to be playing?
Yeah, Pistons over the Celtics for me in the East, and then it's the Thunder over the Nuggets, and it's really close to Thunder Spurs. I just think, again, we see this time and time again. Teams in the NBA, they need a couple runs in the playoffs here to sort of, get their playoff legs, if you will. And I know I've just picked the Pistons, but I thought that series last year against New York gave them just about all the seasoning they really needed. I honestly thought they should win that game. You go back to that non-foul at the end. That's ridiculous. I thought the Pistons should have won that series. So I like Pistons over the Celtics. And then when it comes to Nuggets Spurs, I feel very comfortable that that's what we're going to see in the Western Conference semifinals. I know a lot of people are feeling confident about the Timberwolves. They've had a lot of success against Denver, but this is not the same Timberwolves team of the last 2 years. Edwards is hurt. He is not 100% here. Gobert has been great, but there's just not the level there. And I think this Nuggets team is peaking at the right time. Finished the season, I think it was a 12-game win streak for them, which is just incredible. Cam Johnson is finally making threes. Christian Braun is finally making threes. Aaron Gordon looks to be perfectly healthy. Jamal Murray just probably had his best season of his career. Jokic might have had the best season of his stinking career. So I think the Nuggets beat the Spurs in what should be an absolutely incredible series. And then it's just going to be, I think, a knockdown, drag-out fight. But Oklahoma City has what I believe should be the MVP in SGA. They have the most depth, the most flexibility. It really is the best roster in the NBA. I've been saying they're going to win the title all season. I still believe that. So give me the Thunder to beat the Nuggets. Give me the Pistons to beat the Celtics. And then the Thunder to beat the Pistons and be your repeating NBA champion.
All right, lots of great takes there. If you like betting NBA, you like NFL First TD bets, give him a follow on Twitter @_Noops. It's linked in the description below. And he gave us a very good reminder. Enjoy it. We got great basketball for the next couple of months. Take some time to enjoy it. Noops, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thanks, Jacob. Best of luck until we talk again, bud.
See you later. All righty. Now, we've managed to wrangle him in. He must have been up late betting some tennis again, but we found him. Two-time contest champion, wannabe originator turned prediction market trader, Chris Dierkes. Thank you so much for rejoining us at this later time. What was the reason behind the missed
I apologize. Honestly, I was in a meeting. I had my phone turned off, and I didn't. If I had had it on, I would have been like, it wasn't that important. I could have just left, but I apologize. For that. Thank God Kirk came.
We've got you here. Thank you so much for joining us. Wanted to ask you off the top, are we jumping on the Cavs bandwagon for a second year? Are they turning it around this year?
I thought about that, but I do not like the prices at Fanduel for Cavs. The Cavs are Fanduel traders are clearly smart. They know the Cavs are actually going to be the ones winning the East. Knish and like saying the Pistons, they're awful, but there's just like much better prices out there. So that would be one hesitation. I wouldn't bet them at the Cavs to win the East there. You can look elsewhere, but for individual straights, I would not mind betting the Cavs spread. I think we've already seen some positive movement there. I can see this closing 9.
That was just given out by Noops right before you as well.
Oh, okay. Nice. So that's a ball nor. I mean, unfortunately for your Raptors, I mean, they're going to get spanked in 5 probably.
I'm hoping they steal 2 and make it interesting, and then we'll see at Game 6. But 5, it seems like the most likely outcome for the series, unfortunately. Have to be honest there. So understanding on the spread take there. Is that your official round 1 bet for the show?
No. The official round 1 bet would actually be Nuggets spread. I'm a little shocked by this price. I don't think that they're factoring in Jokic. Like, he steps it up. Like, his defense takes another level. He is typically more focused in the playoffs and stuff like that. And obviously with his increased minutes usage, like, I'm expecting the Nuggets to have a much more sizable upgrade than the Wolves. Like, this seems more kind of like this more seems like a regular season line, where I think Nuggets get a sizable upgrade. Wolves probably get a slight downgrade, just simply because, at least in my opinion, most of the upgrades just revolve around how good is your best player. And Ant's a good player. He's probably top 10-ish, maybe fringe. But Jokic is 1 or 2 or 3, so there's a big difference there.
So you want Nuggets series spread?
No. Nuggets spread for Game 1.
Okay, Game 1 spread. Okay,
Oh, I think
my
you do I have to have a round one spread? I do have
no,
one.
that's fine. We had player props given for the play-in tournament game tonight as a round one bet. So whatever you feel confident to give out, we're gonna roll with that. Nuggets in this game one against the Timberwolves favored by 6 minus 112 on Fanduel. Is that what we're going for?
Yeah.
All right. So there is the round one bet. Perfectly fine. We've already got a player prop involved in that game as well with Jaden McDaniels over 13.5 points. We'll keep it moving. Let's get to your futures bet. What do you have here?
I'm sure many people have given it out, but it's the only thing that I feel confident in. It would be OKC to win the chip plus 115.
Nobody has given this out yet. Nobody has gone for OKC to win. It's been a lot of Cavs and Pistons, but okay, we're just going to go right for it. OKC plus 115 NBA title. That's moved a bit since we went live, but yeah, go ahead.
Mostly from smarter people than me. So I mean, I don't want to name like.
Yeah, Kirk mentioned. Oh, sorry, it was Mike who mentioned this earlier as well.
Oh, okay.
Not as his bet, but he mentioned this as a good bet.
Yeah, so I think it's probably a good one there. Also, can we give plan bets, because I do have one.
Do whatever you got to do, man.
All right, I'm gonna take us to the playoffs. So if you look, it's a little quirk. If you look at Hornets to make the playoffs, you could minus 144. But this is where I would say like shop around. It's on FanDuel, but you see Hornets to be the 8th seed, it's minus 140. So obviously that's the same bet. Let's get 4 cents better.
Well, which one's the wrong one? Is the 144 right and this is just too good, or is this one right and that one's the bad bet?
I don't. They're both good bets, to be honest. But you can get 4 cents better right on FanDuel. So that would be that'd be my recommendation for a play-in thing. I think Hornets will be pretty big favorites against the Magic, and I think that would be probably around minus 140 versus the Sixers. I was shocked by how much money they took versus the Heat in the last game. So yeah.
All right, so we're going to go for Hornets as a little bonus from Flup here. Hornets minus 140 to be the 8th seed, which is the only seed they are able to be if they win their game. It's either they're making the playoffs or they're not when it comes to the next game, whoever they are playing against. Final thing before we let you go, let's get your predictions for the Eastern Conference Finals, the Western Conference Finals, and, of course, the NBA Finals.
I mean, mostly chalk. So for Eastern Conference Finals, I think Celtics, Cavs. Seems like to be the most. I mean, I think Cavs will be favored over Pistons. So that's kind of like the typical thing there. Celtics will obviously be favored over the Cavs, but I think I like the price of the Cavs. And then for the West, it's just utter chalk. OKC Spurs. Like I don't. It's really hard to see any other outcome there.
I know you're a Jets fan. Are you a Knicks fan at all? Because nobody has predicted the Knicks yet.
No, I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm actually a Timberwolves fan.
Okay.
Yes.
How does that work?
It's pretty random because when I grew up in Seattle and none of my family was basketball fans and I was getting into it, I didn't have a team to pick. I didn't want a bandwagon. So I showed all the logos to my mom and I was like, pick the one that you like the best. And she liked the Wolves best. So I've been riding with them ever since.
Man,
so
you're just the most cursed franchises. The Jets, the Timberwolves.
I know. Hey, I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, like, they're live. Like they're not. Like,
these days much better, but up until recently, a bit of a struggle there.
Yeah, and then obviously in the finals, I think that OKC is going to win.
Yep, you just talked about OKC as a futures bet, so completely makes sense there. So we're going Nuggets game 1 spread -6, minus 112 on FanDuel, and OKC to win the title plus 115. As always, make sure you shop around. Those are the FanDuel prices. All right, Flup, thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming through a little bit later than expected, but we made it work. We appreciate you as always. And Flup made a recent appearance on the Circles Off channel, the form of Circle Back Friday. It was a great episode that we had last week. I highly recommend that you check it out. But some more great content coming at you on the Circles Off channel right now. It actually just got posted. So when this episode is done, this edition of the Hammer Daily is done, head over to the Circles Off channel with a link in the description below and catch Isaac. We did another video with Isaac, Round Robin 42, Isaac Rose Berman, where he went through some of the most prominent names in gambling Twitter and ranked them based on his perception of them. Sharp, fraud, goated, content merchant. Flup was one of the people that was listed, as was Joey Knish, as was Mr. Peanut Butter. Again, that is over on the Circles Off YouTube channel. And that gives us a great segue into our next guest, because not only was this person also ranked in this tier list, this person has also recently appeared on the Circles Off channel in the form of an interview. We have Shipper joining the show at Ship the Justice on Twitter. Shipper, thank you so much for coming through, chatting with me today, and coming on the show. How you doing today?
I'm a little worse for wear. Was hanging out with some fellas here in New York, and was lightly overserved on some Guinnesses last night. So, but just quickly had a cold shower, and I'm back to it.
Ready to go. If you can't do it hungover, you can't do it at all, in my opinion. So we're so great. It's so great to have you here. Former sportsbook trader turned into successful bettor. Let's get your thoughts on a conversation, a very simple conversation to break the ice. I asked this on Twitter today. So if a team finishes 46-36 on the season, are they 10 games above 500 or are they 5 games above 500?
They're 10 games above 500. But it shouldn't be that way, but that's how it is. So.
Okay. Simple answer, but it led to a bit of a stir on my Twitter a little bit earlier on today. Would love to hear your opinions in the chat section. Let's jump into the bets, though. We'll start off with round one. What are you looking for? What are you looking at here?
I'm known as a bit of a Jokic hater, and so I love Nikola Jokic. I think he's so good, but just being an SGA bull, I think people paint me as a little bit of a Jokic hater. So I'm going to go with the Minnesota Timberwolves to win 4-2 in the first round. I think, like, if you just take Jokic at his regular season level, then we should see something in the series price range of about plus 190, plus 195 for Minnesota here. Market is anywhere all the way up to plus 275. I don't really want to pick it that, because I think you have to give Jokic some level of upgrade. But what I want to do is I kind of want to capture the variance on if he just doesn't have the fastball anymore defensively. I want to get something that's a little bit longer, and so trying to get some Minnesota Timberwolves 4-2. I think there's some plus 775 out there if you shop around, and I make that. If you give Jokic about a 0.75 point upgrade, then I make that in the 12.2% range. If you give him no upgrade, then it's almost 14%. So I think anywhere between those ranges is probably quite reasonable for me.
Okay, so on Fanduel, we have this one, Timberwolves exact series score, 4-2. We have that plus 650. Is that at a level you would look at, or are you suggesting to shop around for this one?
I would probably shop around. That's right on the fringe of playable, but I probably wouldn't play that there.
Okay, so shop around that one, but Timberwolves on the series exact score, 4-2. Let's get your futures bet now for the NBA playoffs.
I mean, there's a bunch of good ones out there, but the best one, and it's been the best one all season, is the Oklahoma City Thunder. When Flup says he's heard it from someone, he's heard it from me. This team is just so much better than every other team. I mean, like, San Antonio is really good and they have a lot of upside, but like, people just don't understand how good this Thunder team is. We should just be treating them like the 2019 Warriors, basically. Like, this team is just sick. It's absolutely filthy. Shea has massively leveled up at dealing with teams tilting their defenses, getting into boxes and elbows, and tilting all the defense to him. He gets off the ball early now, and then the ball gets moving, and they just have a much cleaner offense. Like, last year, he had to hit like the Shea hero mode basically in the entire playoffs and just drag them through. I don't think they need to do that anymore, because either you have to load to Shea. If you load to Shea, then he gets off the ball a lot cleaner now. And so I think that OKC's offense will be a little bit cleaner in this playoffs, and I think they just roll to the title.
And what would be the price for this one that you need minimum to play?
I mean, minus 135, but like there's
Okay.
obviously, yeah, it's
Okay.
everywhere, right? Like it's way wrong. It's been way wrong all season. It continues to be way wrong. Just keep betting Thunder until you run out of money,
So
and then you
start
have
the
some more money later.
Start of the show was plus 120. It's plus 115 now. Mike Peanut Better gave it out, not as his specific play, but he mentioned you should bet this at the start of the show. Flup gave it out as his official pick for the show, as have you at this point. What would it take for someone to beat the Thunder in a 7-game series?
I mean, there's a bunch of outs, right? Like Shea gets hurt, but Shea's also probably in terms of like healthy players. There's like Bridges.
Durability is insane.
He doesn't do it. Bridges never does anything, and then it's like Jokic and Shea, and like I have them as in the range of like 50% of the average injury rate as like a regular player. And like the thing is, Shea takes contact and he just falls and like dives to the ground, and he's never going to get hurt. He's not doing vertical collisions at the basket, and so he's just like is a low injury probability. So like that, you get a lot of benefit avoiding that. But I don't know, like that guy in San Antonio, the big fella, is like a very scary proposition to handle. Like he could not just be the best player in the NBA, he could already be the best player in the NBA by like quite a bit. And if that's the case, like he's doing some stuff where he does the Giannis like barrel to the rim, and when they stop him, before he used to just shoot a mid-range or a fadeaway and fall over. Now he does like the spray out for threes. Like that leveling up on offense, I think is quite scary. But I don't know, like it's possible that we get to, the Western Conference Finals and the Thunder aren't like massive favorites, but I don't know what I have currently in my sheet, but it's probably, I think I have them something like 73% to beat the Spurs, or maybe 70% to beat the Spurs in the Western Conference
You're
Finals.
betting Thunder now. It looks like you'd be betting the Thunder all the way through the playoffs.
Yeah, I can't get enough of the Thunder. I just keep clicking them, so
right.
Just keep more Thunder.
Very strong take there. Western Conference final prediction. I imagine it's going to be the Thunder and Spurs.
Yeah. I mean, like Denver has some chance there, of course. Like Jokic could just be really, really good. AG, Aaron Gordon's played like amazing this season. Jamal Murray's played amazing this season. They're a team where potentially like losing even their 6th best player really stings them because their depth is so bad. And so like, and also Jokic has such massive flaws that you have to, in order to insulate him, you have to have every single part of the machine working and dealing with it. And so like, if you don't have Peyton Watson to get over a ball screen, then like he might just like Jokic might just suck, and the Nuggets might just suck defensively. So there might be like some kind of magical symbiosis when all of their players are healthy. So like I wouldn't be stunned if Denver made it, but yeah, it's San Antonio versus OKC.
And on the Eastern Conference, who would be your Eastern Conference final prediction?
The Pistons and the Celtics. I think the Pistons are a bit underrated by most people. Like they just go so hard. They like play so hard. And Jalen Duren is like got to be one of the most underrated players in the NBA. I think he might be the second best player of any team. And like if you ask that to anybody, people would bring up Chad or Cat or I don't know, or Jamal Murray or whatever. And to me, Duren is just like, he's so sick on defense, and his ability to put the ball on the floor this season is just way, way better. So to me, Pistons are quite a bit like decently underrated.
And who would get it to the final from that?
The Celtics are better, but I don't think the Celtics are a massive favorites against Pistons. Something in the 60% range in the Eastern Conference Finals.
So of the people we've had on the show so far, you got one more guest coming after you. Everyone has said the Celtics will get to the conference finals, but there's been a pretty split opinion on the Pistons and the Cavaliers. Is there any defense of the New York Knicks here? Like, are they just cursed with the run here? They have to go through the Celtics.
No, I mean, if I was to take, my numbers actually say that I like the Hawks in round 1 as well, which is like quite difficult. But like, I've talked about this on Twitter, but the Hawks probably played the worst 10-game stretch in NBA history. They played a team that, by my numbers, had an average expected net rating of -13. And they win every game by 20, and everyone's like, oh, wow, like CJ McCollum has completely turned this team around. He's got an 11 net rating. Yeah, but they're like, with McCollum on the floor, the average expected net rating that he's played against is like -6. So they're truly only like a +5 team. And like, they are just like the most mid team ever. But I don't know, like they're a reasonably competent team. The spread's only 5 for game 1. If that spread holds at 5, then the Hawks series price is really good. I think.
Okay, interesting. So lots of great bits of information there. Official plays were Timberwolves 4-2 exact score in the first round and OKC to win the title. Plenty of other betting insight over the course of the hit here. Shipper, thank you so much for chatting with me here and joining the show today.
Pleasure. Thank you.
You can follow him at Ship the Justice on Twitter. Everyone is linked in the description below. Haven't asked yet, but if you're still stuck around, you're still enjoying the show, take a second, double check. Make sure you have hit that like button. Support the content that we're doing here on The Hammer. A lot of work went into prepping for this show and organizing this show. So shout out to Alex Moretto putting the guests together. Shout out to Mike behind the scenes putting together all the assets and making the show run. We appreciate everyone involved, but lots of work goes in. All we ask in return, you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're live here on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel with typically Jason Cooper every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern time in this slot. And if you like the mini extravaganzas, an NHL one is coming up. Believe it's on Friday. My producer can correct me if that's wrong, but Friday we have a mini extravaganza coming for the NHL playoffs just like this one. That's brought us to the final guest on the show today. We're going to bring him on here. He's a sharp NBA bettor with connections in the space with some of the people that we've talked to already on the show. You can follow him at Twitter at Costco Croissant. Kaiser No Play. We'll bring him up. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining the show. Did I say that correctly? Is it Kaiser No Play?
Yeah. It's just supposed to be like Kaiser Sose from the usual suspects. So, yeah, good to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Any rooting interest in the NBA playoffs, or just strictly betting business for yourself?
I grew up a Lakers fan, but, I am at this point where I root for where my money is. But as we're about to get into, that might overlap this playoffs.
All right. Well, let's get into it then. Good segue into round one. Is that where we have some involvement in the Lakers series?
Yeah. The bet I was going to give, or the only series bet that I've placed myself is Lakers. And so I do see some value on the outrights, but I only bet over 5.5 games. And the one I was going to give out was plus 2.5. So the Lakers plus 2.5 games. I believe I checked just before logging on. It was minus 102 Fanduel. I haven't really price shopped, but I believe a plus 2.5 close to pick'em pricing is available. Before we asked, yep, there it is. Before anyone asked, I like this bet even if Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves do not come back. I can kind of walk through why I like the bet, but basically, I just think that a lot of player models basically you get your team rating by adding together the sum of the players that are playing and divided by the minutes they play. And I just don't really think that's how basketball works. And I think it's a really extreme example with the Lakers, where if you look at the data with lineup data with Luka and LeBron on, Luka and LeBron are, let me pull up the stats here. They are +1 when they're both share the floor. And these are all big samples. They're +1.2 this year on the floor together in over 1,000 minutes. Luka by himself with LeBron off is a +10.7. LeBron on with Luka off is +4.7. And then with them both off, they're a -9.4. So basically what this is telling us is that, they're not the best fit together. They're better than having no one because you have no shot creation. But when they're on the floor together, there's too much on ball. And it kind of takes away from all the off-ball players. So, you want one without the other. And we've seen this even not just in these on-off stuff, but actually, when Luka has missed and Reeves has missed, the LeBron-only teams have been really good. They lost to the Mavs, but they won process. And then they handily beat the Warriors, handily beat the Phoenix Suns, and then they were up big at half to Utah. So we have plenty of evidence that LeBron with these role players is a better than market team. And I think you really just have to worry about, my worry here is, Luka and Reeves don't come back. And then as the series wears on, you're just putting a lot of minutes on, 40-plus-year-old LeBron. Yeah. And we start seeing these non-LeBron minutes. But yeah, I think the plus 2.5 is good. They also have home court. So for this bet not to cash, basically they hit 3 of the first 5 at home, and Houston's going to need to win 4 of those 5. So
And another Joey Knish confirmed sharp moment. This was another one that he had a little bit earlier on. For him, was just purely for vibes, but it's good that you've brought a more analytical and statistical approach to this one for a more nuanced conversation on it. I appreciate that. Is this a little bit of a fade of the Rockets as well? You talked like big of the Lakers here, but it's a bit of a fade on the Rockets too.
It is, yeah. The Rockets just haven't been good since Steven Adams went down, and we have pretty big samples on both 32 games with Adams, 50 games without, and they were like a plus 7.7 with Adams playing, and not even on the floor, but just like in games that Adams plays, they're a plus 7.7, and they're a plus 3.9 without Adams. So I think the market is pricing them as like a plus 5.5 true net rating. I think closer to 5.5. And we just have no evidence at any point during the year where that's the case. I also don't really like the team chemistry or just the sort of, I don't really like how they gel. I don't like how they get along. And then like we have matchup data where like the Lakers really defended the Rockets well. Whereas the Rockets are like a very ISO heavy allowing defense. And that kind of with the Lakers, like that is kind of the way that they score. So I kind of like the matchup stuff here. If the Lakers can kind of prevent the offensive rebounds and they can prevent the transition stuff, I think it's kind of a good matchup for the Lakers. And I apologize. I didn't tune in for the previous
no.
guest, so if I give anything away that's duplicate, I apologize.
No, not at all a problem. It's just funny that Knish give his picks out based on like complete vibes or whatever some originator fed him to feed into some machines in Michigan. But nice to get the different approach as well. It's just funny. Anyways, we'll progress into the futures bet that you have for the show.
Yeah, I was looking. I didn't find anything I love. I think this is kind of bleeding into my prediction for the conference finals and finals, but I don't mind LaMelo to win Eastern Conference Finals MVP at plus 4,500. I think there's a pretty good chance if the Hornets do make it to the finals, LaMelo has a pretty good shot at being the finals MVP there, or conference finals MVP. And I think the Hornets are, arguably the second best team in the East. Obviously, they have a tough path ahead of them. But I think their side of the bracket, if they can, I think they have a good chance at beating the 7-8 to get to the 8 seed. And then I think Detroit is a softer 1 seed than we've seen in prior years.
Agreed.
And I think they match up well in terms of size and all that other stuff. And then you kind of get the 4-5 bracket. And I don't think Toronto or Cleveland's that good. I think the two biggest contenders, well, Detroit is a contender for sure, but the other two are all on the 2-3 side. I think it's the Celtics and the Knicks. So obviously a lot has to break right here, but I think at plus 4,500, you're talking about like an implied, 2%. I think this is a good bet. Has
that changed at all since yesterday? Because there is a partial threat LaMelo doesn't play on Friday after the Bam Adebayo incident. Has that factored in at all to your thoughts on this bet?
I don't think that they're going to suspend him personally,
right?
Just because of, I think the precedent that it sets, and just sort of like in the nature of the Hornets making the playoffs for the first time in a long time and taking away their best player. I do think some punishment could come in terms of a fine or something, but it would just be, I think, bad for the league and bad for, in general, for like the conference and the way it shapes up to just, suspend their best player. He was apologetic. I think like sort of like him apologizing to Bam and apologizing post game was like a good step in the lack of intent kind of deal. It definitely didn't look good, and I'm not defending him, but I think Charlotte will be favored even on the road against either team that wins the 9-10, especially if LaMelo plays, and I think he will play.
I agree. You're the first person that's kind of played down the Pistons and Cavs side of things. You're the first person who's given the Knicks any sort of credit, but is it just a case that like the Celtics are too good? Like, what's your Eastern Conference Finals prediction?
I think it's pretty deep. Like, I think the Celtics are the best team, but I think that the Knicks and the Pistons and the Hornets are all kind of grouped together in the next tier. And then I have the Cavs below that. But in that next tier. So I actually think the Hawks are also like kind of in the Cavs tier too. I think the Hawks are live for the first round and are live beyond that. My prediction is going to be pretty boring on the Celtics side. I think the Celtics will make it out of that 2-3 side. And I'm just going to predict that it's the Hornets. I think it's going to be Charlotte
I
versus
like
Boston.
It different. I like it.
But I do think like if you're just going odds based, I think it's going to be Boston versus Detroit. But I do think like the Cavs Raptors aren't live to me to make it on that side.
Okay, interesting. So nobody's respected the Raptors, which I understand. As a Raptors fan myself, I understand. But the Cavs, a lot of people have looked at the Cavs here, so interesting that you're against that. But I definitely like your spot on the Hornets. I think the Pistons are praying they don't see Charlotte round 1, because that is not going to be your typical 1 versus 8 series, especially with the health complications to Cade Cunningham. So that's going to be a great 1v8. So I'm hoping the Hornets get there just so we're able to see that. Let's flip over to the Western Conference. What is your Western Conference Finals prediction? It can be the easy one if you want it to be.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I will say directionally, I like the Denver Nuggets. Just to add some spice, I'm going to pick the Denver to come out of the 2-3 side. I do respect the Spurs. I do expect the Spurs to be favored if they do match up. But just for some fun, I think just in terms of relative to market, I think I like the Nuggets a good bit. And Denver took OKC to 7 last year without any shooting. So I actually think that Denver adding a ton of shooting at Hardaway and Cam Johnson, I think is live to make it out of the West. I'm going to say OKC over Denver just because they're so overwhelmingly the best team. So I'm going to say OKC versus Boston in the finals, which is a really boring take, but I hope that I implied that, Denver and Charlotte are live relative to the consensus odds.
Okay. Interesting takes there. Glad we have a little bit of difference on some takes here to end off the show. Appreciate you tuning in. Kaiser No Play at Costco Croissant on Twitter. You can follow him. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and that wraps up all the guests that we have for you today. Let's cycle through all of the bets that were given out so we make sure you did not miss out on anything. So, first of all, Mike, Mr. Peanut Butter, gave out Steph Curry in tonight's play-in tournament game under 26.5 points. I think it was minus 130 at Fanduel, but I saw it superior elsewhere, so shop around for that one. Then his futures bet, Donovan Mitchell, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, plus 700. Pips NBA came on and gave out for game 1 of that Timberwolves Nuggets series, Jaden McDaniels over 13.5 points, minus 114. He also gave out Cavs to win the East at plus 330. Kirk Evans came on next and gave out a couple of bets for round 1 / play-in. For round 1, he had LeBron James under 9.5 assists for game 1, minus 152. I saw some better prices out there, but that's also okay to take. He also gave out Amen Thompson to be the series leader in assists at plus 2,200 as a bit of a fade against LeBron because he's playing his under in game 1 on assists. For his futures bet, he had Celtics not to win the East, minus 170. Next, Joey Knish, Lakers plus 2.5 games in the series spread against the Rockets, minus 102. Pistons to win the East, plus 460. Noops came on after and gave out the Cavs spread in the series at minus 2.5 games, minus 102. And then he also had the Pistons to win the East at plus 460. Flup gave out Nuggets game 1, minus 6 on the spread against the Timberwolves, minus 110. And OKC to win the title at plus 115. Not the only person to hint at that because Shipper also had his futures bet on OKC to win the title at plus 115. And the Timberwolves to win their series by the exact score of 4-2 at plus. If you can get around plus 775, the absolute floor of that would be what FanDuel had at plus 650. But see if you can shop around and find a little bit better. Finally, Kaiser No Play came on, gave us some different approaches here, but he did repeat the Joey Knish Lakers plus 2.5 games in the series spread, minus 102. And he also gave out LaMelo Ball, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, plus 4,500. That will do it for the show today. Thank you so much for spending the last hour and a half with me. We had a little bit of complications with some timing, but we made it through. We had a great show, I think. If you agree, make sure you've hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, keep up to date with all the great content we have on the Hammer Daily, on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel, like Hammer Daily every weekday at 12 Eastern Time. Other content, the network. Right now, go to the Circles Off channel, watch our latest video, 2 p.m., Forward Progress, live, NFL mock draft, 5 p.m. tonight. The Hit the Books YouTube channel, more CFB discussion and NFL draft discussion from Brad Powers and Joey Knish. Loaded day at the Hammer. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you again next time.